First, I'd like to thank both boards for inviting me here tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. My husband and I have lived in North Reading for more than 40 years, both having a strong commitment to the community in one way or another. As demonstrated in my resume, my experience in vocational education includes more than 20 years as a teacher, department head, class advisor, teacher mentor, and the cooperative education coordinator. My immediate goals as the representative from North Reading on the Northeast School Committee will be to improve the communications between Northeast and the North Reading community through participation at town meeting and committee meetings, to incorporate agenda and minutes into the Northeast page of the North Reading website, to increase awareness of the programs offered and the opportunities available at Northeast for the North Reading students by establishing a link between the Northeast website and the North Reading Public School website. Budget transparency. These are difficult times for everyone. Northeast prepares a budget with assessments for each city and town in the district with additional charges for transportation. It is important that the school committee and its members from each city and town be prepared to explain that budget. I will be in attendance at all town meetings with the superintendent as well, so that there is a clear and concise understanding by all in the town of North Reading. I will monitor the warrant spending closely each month to ensure that there is fiscal responsibility for the town of North Reading. In closing, my actions on the committee will reflect my strong commitment to education, especially vocational education, my determination to act in the best interest of the students at Northeast, and my obligation to present and serve the North Reading community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Any questions? We'll start with, so if any selectmen have any questions at this time.
One question.
Mr. Mosseri?
Given that this appointment is just for the 2 years and there's an election, it's basically the state election next 2 years in 2012, would it be your intent to run for election again?
Yes. Yes, it definitely
So
will.
you're in this for the long.
I am. I'm
not just for
committed.
the appointment.
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Mr. Yule, do you have a question?
Actually, I did have a few questions. You answered them all.
Oh,
Right down the line. I wrote my notes and you went right down the line of my notes.
really?
That's
Oh,
correct. So-
thank you. And we didn't talk to each other.
Not at all, not at all. So, it sounds very good to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the selectmen?
Just a comment.
Mr. O'Leary?
I know it's difficult for Judy to be here
It
so
is.
soon after Larry's passing. And I know that she and Larry had talked about, once they heard Mr. Sweeney was resigning and retiring, that you'd have an interest in it. So I appreciate you being able to come here and facing this cast of characters. You know, although we are all friendly
Points at
faces.
us.
Yeah, you pointed, I know.
We are all friendly faces, and again,
And all friends, and you've all, the community was wonderful, and I appreciate it very much.
Any questions from the school committee?
Actually, I was going to echo what Jeff said, this very same thing. My questions were essentially communication. You know, we've been, I don't know, I've been on this committee for 11 years, and I don't know, I'm not sure we've spoken to our representative. I don't know that we spoke to him in 11 years. So it's nice to know that there's going to be communication and information, and
Absolutely.
we appreciate that, Judy. So
Absolutely.
you answered my questions just like you answered Jeff's. So.
And if I just may
Yes,
interject,
Mr. Yule?
by the way, I'm the liaison for the vote.
Oh, wonderful. That's good to
Okay,
know.
So, I will be talking with you, communicating with one another,
Wonderful. I look forward to that.
like everything.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other questions at this time?
I just had
Erin?
a question about some of the things you've been thinking about in terms of improving communication. I think that's a very important priority. I'm just wondering, in addition to promoting more awareness on the websites and communicating that. What kind of strategies are you thinking about in terms of improving communication?
Well, there's so many areas that's been lacking for so many years that to hit on any one would be difficult for me to do. I know that I want to bring the community and the school closer together, and I will work to do that. Vocational education is a jewel, and it's a jewel that so many young people in this town are missing the opportunity. I had 3 children go through the school system, and many of their friends later on went on to be plumbers and electricians and some hairdressers, and I would say to them, why didn't you ever come to the Vogue? I mean, I was teaching at the time. I was almost insulted. And they didn't feel they knew enough about it. And I don't know where that communication has been a problem, but it's something that I am strongly going to work to improve.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to make one comment. I think the education aspect, I often view the Northeast folk as a mystery here in North Reading. Very few people, I think, know what it is, where it is, or understand the school. So I do think that opening up the communications, especially being at town meetings to present, we talk about the budget there every town meeting, and nobody's there to talk about it. So it's all in a void. We get a number. We're told this is how much you have to pay, and this is how many students are going here. But that's basically, I think the selectmen would agree, there's been some additional communication, but for the most part, that's been the extent of our communication over the past several years. So I too welcome the much more open communications between the school and the town and the school district in North Reading. I think it's important.
And I promise you that I will be there for that.
Great.
Just
Mr. O'Leary?
One other comment. I mean, I know that the physical structure itself down there at the Vogue, very little's been done over the last 25 years or more, and that we're probably facing some sort of infrastructure revamping, if not total redoing of that school down there, which was going to mean a significant impact to North Reading for our pro rata share of it. So it's, if you're successful, I would just hope that the communication would be early so that we can plan appropriately.
Well, with me tonight, I do have a very special guest that volunteered to come with me tonight, and she's the former superintendent of Northeast, retired the same year that I did. And I know before she retired that she did initiate a Blue Ribbon Committee to look into that. I have no idea what has happened to that committee. I don't know if she knows what's happened to that committee. But you're absolutely right, and it has to start now. I mean, it's just long term. The school is old. Much of the equipment is old and outdated, and yet we do wonderful things there all the time. So it is something that needs to be seriously looked at, and soon.
Not unlike here in North Reading.
Right, I was just going to say, kind of familiar tune there.
Yeah.
Anything else? Great. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much. And Kathy, if I had looked at my agenda, I would have seen that the candidates are listed in order here. Next, we have Mr. Michael DeSanto.
You should really look at that in advance of the meeting.
I did, but I didn't read the details. How are you? Welcome.
Fine, thank you.
Thanks for coming, and thanks for
Thank you.
expressing interest.
Thank you for inviting me.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you want to
Okay.
do, and then if there's any questions, we'll ask.
Sure. 1970, when I was going to high school, I chose the Northeast Regional Vocational School for my venture, and I ended up graduating there in '73 with high honors. I went out into business, and I was the youngest master plumber in the state of Massachusetts. I was the #1 apprentice in the country. I went back to start teaching at Northeast in 1980, and I remained there for 25 years. I took care of the building. I know every square inch of the building. I know the heating systems, the water systems. I'm familiar with a lot of areas in the building that could use some attention. I know today with the budgets the way they are, I know we got to start thinking a little out of the box. I have some great ideas, I think, that I'd like to try to put in place if I ever had an opportunity to do it. A couple of them, there's acres of land up there that's untapped resources that are available. I'm even thinking, cell tower or something like that. I'm thinking of maybe driving wells up there to irrigate the fields, just different ways to save money. Another untapped resource would possibly bring in an alumni. During the past 40 years, we've had great success up there with students in business. And I don't know why we don't have some sort of social event up there and try to raise some money and try to take the burden off the towns and the cities, because I know how difficult it is today. I think now, as a school committee member, you got to start thinking a little out of the box and start to generate money and focus on different ideas. And I have a few of them that I'd like to try to get going if I had the opportunity to. I work very well with everybody. I know I'm very familiar with the system up there. I know quite a few people that's still up there, and I'd love to have the opportunity to go up there and give back what it gave to me. I'm quite excited that the opportunity could be here.
Great. Any questions? I'll start with the selectman again. Mr. Prisco?
Are you familiar with the financial structure of how the Northeast Folk works and how towns like North Reading have to pay a share into that?
Yes. I've sat through school committee meetings and so forth, and I am familiar that every town has to contribute a certain amount of money per student. And that's why I feel as though the town of North Reading should be proud to send their student there. He should be getting a fair shake when he gets up there and, get educated well. And, I'm familiar with the financing of the different towns and cities. Yeah.
Are you in this for the long haul? Would you?
Oh, yes, most
would
definitely.
You, run for re-election?
Oh, yeah.
2 years from now?
Yeah, this has been one of my things in life to want to do. This would be a good step in the right direction for me. Sure, I'd love to be able to continue. Well.
Anything else from Selectman? Mr. O'Leary?
Just, you gave us a letter of reference, but it was from 2005.
Yeah.
Is that gentleman still there?
Yes, he is. He's actually a grant writer now up there. Yeah, he's actually. That's another thing. Grants are very important today. Yeah, he's not full time. They actually are subcontract.
Because I was looking.
Yeah.
I didn't find him on the website. I had no way of contacting him, so I didn't know. And again, it was 5 years old. I don't know. Was he still willing to give you a reference?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
5 years ago?
Yeah.
It wasn't clear.
Yeah. I was kind of a little undecisive. I was thinking through the past, what was it, do I want to do this or not? And then all of a sudden I said to myself, I think this would be a great opportunity to give back to the school and get up there and correct some things up there that need to be corrected and, some new young blood. I have a lot of good ideas, I think, that, need to be addressed up there, I believe a co-op should continue. It was not budgeted, I guess, for the last couple of years. And I think that if you get the smart students out of the shops and get them into the, into industry, it gives the teachers more opportunity to help the other kids that need a little more, you spend more time with the kids who need more help, That school, when I was there, that school was #1 in the state and even in the nationals. I mean, we used to go to these contests, and we used to come back with trophies all the time. I mean, there used to be students' pictures in the papers all the time, and I want to try to get that school back up to that level. That's what one of my ambitions.
Just as far as another candidate was just up here, stress the importance of communication, bringing information back to the town of North Reading, and it's been somewhat lacking over the last few years. What do you see your role as being, and what do you anticipate, if you're selected, you're doing in order to enhance that level of communication?
I'd be open to a phone call at any time, any day, especially with the parents. If the parents are having a problem with the student up there or something in that area, I'd be a phone call away to step in and try to help them out. If the town needed any advice on anything, just a phone call away, I'd be right there.
The other thing that I want to talk about is the infrastructure itself up there has obviously been suffering over the last few years, which is going to be a big ticket item.
Yep.
Any idea as to what you foresee and how are we going to communicate so that the people in North Reading would be supportive? Again, a lot of people don't even know that we belong to Northeast.
Right. We got to find ways to save with the equipment that we have, if it can be saved or updated. I know that the heating system in there and the old boilers, they're outdated. I don't know what the cost factor would be to try to update some of that equipment would be. I don't even know if we could possibly get a wind power up there, maybe up in the hill somewhere. I would like to think of alternative methods also, not just, strictly go in there and spend, a lot of money. The building is getting old. There's no question about it. I mean,